Well, welcome to Double Talk, right here on Channel 98. I'm Mark Steffen.
And I'm Michael Mandel.
You know, and we're going on 4 years with this show now.
Is it 4 years?
We're starting our fourth year. I think it's time that we got a new opening logo.
Yeah, you
the
think
Double
so?
Talk logo. Sure.
Because the thing that says Double Talk is in red, white, and blue, so, we can do that.
It's just time to freshen it up a bit.
Yes,
We're all for
so
that.
new things coming in the future.
Well, yeah. Well, right now, before we get to things, we like to talk about restaurants and food and so forth here. I went to Nellies the other day for huevos rancheros.
And
I used to love going to Nellies for them and their green enchiladas because they always had a lot of, actually, green chili, chopped up green chili.
Nellies has a reputation in town for being the hottest chili in town. That's their reputation.
Not anymore. I was very disappointed because I ordered the huevos rancheros green like I always had. I haven't been there in about a year. And it came out and it had this gringo sauce on it without a speck of green chili to be seen.
Really? So it just shook on the can, huh?
It was just, I don't know how they made it, but it wasn't good. I'll never go back for that anyway. And
well, do you still go to Spanish Kitchen? Remember,
yes.
you used to like Spanish Kitchen.
enjoyed
You're the
the
only
huevos
guy I ever knew.
I enjoy the huevos rancheros and Spanish Kitchen. That's all I ever get there. Yeah.
Well, I went to my brother's place, not my brother's place, everybody's, and they had pretty good huevos rancheros.
Yes, I don't like their green enchilada sauce because they use soup, mushroom soup or whatever. I don't like the soup kind. I like the green chili kind, like you used to get at Nellies.
Right, before it was watered down. Well, Cisco must be selling a new form of a can of green chili sauce. On a happier point, Gelato has come to Luna Rosa, the famous winery that has a pizza place in Mesilla, thanks to Bob Libby. Also, let him know that there is a hand cleaner at the temple.
What is gelato, Michael?
Gelato is an Italian form of ice cream, and it's made with more water than our American stuff. Yes.
Closer to like sherbet or
Scoobies, or
sorbet.
what we now know as caliches.
Custard.
Is custard, but most custard, like Dairy Queen, has like 20% air. Caliches has 4% air, whipped up. 4%, that's like nothing, and a lot of cream.
I see. I breathe 100% air.
Not really. Depends on what you consider air.
Air is what you breathe.
You breathe a little.
You
breathe microbes, smog.
That's true.
But it's not 100%
Your
oxygen.
Perfume.
Armpit.
Or lack of it.
I have an armpit.
So yes, and coming up soon, you'll be able to do all these things with an hour extra of sunshine.
Depending on what time you wake up. If you always wake up at the same time, then it's fine. I realize that daylight saving time is really good for people who sleep late because the light doesn't wake you up as it used to. Now the light's coming up really early.
It's going to get dark an hour later, or light an hour later, and
dark
dark
an hour.
So you lose it. So tonight,
dark will stay an hour.
Before you go to bed tonight, Saturday night, turn your clocks ahead an hour.
Remember, spring forward, fall behind.
Back.
Or fall back, yes.
That's right.
So we're losing an hour, and you're losing an hour, but you're losing a half hour just by watching this.
Right.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Well, people like to go fishing early in the morning, so they can, get out there.
They do because that's so they could go a little earlier.
They'll go at the same time. It'll just be darker later.
Did during the great floods? Did Noah go fishing?
Did Noah go fishing when they were on? He was on a boat.
He was on a boat.
I don't think he did because he only had 2 worms.
How many fish were there?
In the sea?
Why don't we have more fish now than all that? Only 2 worms?
Well, he had 2 of everything. If he only had 2 worms, he didn't get a lot of fishing done.
I bet with the amount of animals they were hanging out with, they all had some worms.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
That's how it worked in the old days.
Yes.
They all had worms. What else are I supposed to... since we're talking about religion,
We are?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
because this is the first week we've kind of ever had. Is this
had a new pope and
Well, we don't have a new pope. We're working without a pope. How can things go on? It's incredible. I like the idea of a pope and stuff like that. I think it's kind of a good way to organize things. Makes it laddered well, so everybody knows what they're supposed to do. But if you don't have a pope, what do you do? What do you do?
I don't know.
What was the last pope's accomplishments?
Well,
the most recent.
Keeping condoms out of Africa. You've heard of AIDS.
Oh, really? So he gave aid to Africa by not giving aid?
I don't know.
AIDS without giving aid.
They're still not allowed to have condoms in
Africa?
Areas. Yeah.
Is that because they don't make them that big?
Ooh. Oh, they do. They call
Oh,
them
they
magnums.
do.
They call them magnums. I got one in my pocket right now.
Oh, Magnum, yeah. Really? It didn't deteriorate yet, huh? Well, that's a type of humor you're going to hear on this show. Anyway, what else is going on in town? You know, a lot of women want to marry a millionaire, right? Because that's a easy street.
I want to marry a millionaire.
You want to marry a millionaire. We have a picture of a millionaire that's coming up.
He's available too, single.
Steve Slavin. He's recently liberated. Not recently. He's been out of confinement. He wasn't even really. He couldn't have officially been in jail because he was never arrested for anything.
He was arrested.
He was suspected.
Never charged.
He was arrested. Yes, and they let him go after only 2 years. Right. Of a suspected DWI.
He's in solitary confinement 2 years for a suspected DWI, never charged with a crime.
And this week he will be getting the first installment of his $22 million settlement.
Yes.
Ladies, Steve Slavin, if you're interested, probably hanging around.
Girls, step
who
right
knows?
up.
Do you think he'll be at M5? Probably not.
Well, he probably doesn't live in Las Cruces anymore.
Probably
He's
not.
He's probably had his fill of the Las Cruces
He's had it here.
Judicial system and law enforcement community.
We are actually giving people, the choice of how he's going to look when they see him. We don't know if he ever shaved.
Well, and the thing is, nobody ever got in trouble for the way he was treated.
Nobody. The entire county is suffering.
Yeah, but the people responsible for all this, they still have their jobs at the jail.
Maybe.
Well, the district attorney lost her job.
I understand $9 or $10 million, which the county is giving him right away, is about 7% of the county budget.
Right. Hey, what if you'd like to invest in a movie? Because I got a script.
I think so. You should talk to him.
I could do his life story, but I've got a script I want to do first. So, Steve, if you're listening, get a hold of us here at the channel.
I'm sure you're listening. Steve, what else you got to do?
If
you're
in
solitary confinement, probably.
Executive producer of a motion picture, now's your opportunity.
You know what? Executive producers meet all the best women, and you have roles for really great women, right?
That's
or
right.
Men. We don't want to discriminate.
That's right, and we'll advise you on how to have an ironclad prenup.
Yes. Because you have one.
Oh,
your prenup is not getting nupped.
It's so I'm not even married.
You're not getting nupped, so that's a good thing. Well, I think that's a income earning opportunity. Marrying a millionaire.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Give him a little flower.
Now, we like to talk about recycling on this show. We do it frequently.
We like to talk about everything. We talk about him.
And so when it comes to, I recycle plastic bags. Do you?
Yes, I do.
The kind you get in the grocery store.
And where do you put them?
Well, I take them back to the grocery store where I got them. They have a recycling bin. In
Albertsons is the one place.
I think Walmart has one too.
Do they? The hard thing about recycling is glass. The only place.
Nobody takes that.
Yes, they do.
Well,
Target takes it.
Right.
And I go in there with my shopping cart full of alcohol bottles after a good weekend and just dump them right off there.
Your bottles of alcohol don't come in plastic bottles?
No, not boxes like yours.
Oh.
They'd stack a lot easier.
That's true, they would.
So what's going to happen? What's new with the recycling plastic bags?
Well, they do recycle it, and they make it into a multitude of products, such as park benches.
And probably more plastic bags.
And more plastic bags, I guess. And in fact, the city of Las Cruces has initiated a recycling program for people to take their plastic bags to City Hall, and they're actually getting several more recycling places. And when they get enough plastic bags, Las Cruces will be eligible for park benches. You get so many plastic bags equals one park bench.
30,000, they said in the paper. So who's going to be sitting? Imagine counting to 30,000.
Well, the old City Hall had.
They probably don't do a wood bench. They might do a plastic bench.
Well, they look like wood. They had one sitting outside the old City Hall, made of plastic
and metal. That's more like what it's going to look like.
That's a tree of plastic bags.
My daughter made a costume for the trash queen for one of her videos. It looked just like that.
Did it?
Yeah. So we already have recycling bins in front of our houses, right?
Yes, we do, but they don't take plastic bags.
They don't take plastic bags. I suppose if you are going to count 30,000 bags, you don't want to start picking all the other garbage out of that. So
it's got to be clean bags. No receipts left in them, or no bits of food.
No chopped off hands. No heads. We don't want to turn this into a CSI episode. In the idea of saving energy and saving the environment, Bring your plastic. You know, a lot of plastic bags get caught in cactuses and trees, and birds get in them. And around here, you know, we have a lot of fish swimming around in the ocean. And when those bags get into the ocean in Las Cruces.
Well, if you throw your bags away, they could wind up in the ocean. They get strangled around fish and otters and turtles. Turtles go for them, and it clogs up their digestive tract, and they die a hideous death.
You should do a movie on that. That sounds the hideous death of Tommy Tortoise. Tommy Tortoise.
Speaking of water, we need to save water in Las Cruces too, certainly in the southwestern desert. And
I'm sweating like crazy.
Well, it's true. And you know, the city of Las Cruces has implemented their water wizard program, where they go around the school teaching people how to save water to school children. And it's not just children who waste the water; it's their parents who waste all the water.
Oh, probably. How long do you take a shower for?
As long as until I'm clean.
It's never ending, huh? So showers take up less water than a bath
in most cases,
as well as apparently doing your dishes if you in a dishwasher and it's all filled takes up a lot less water than in the sink. If you notice, did you ever notice how dishwashers work? We have a few minutes here. We could discuss that. The dishwasher has just about this much water in it, right, on the bottom, because when you open the door and don't tell your dishwasher you're doing it, it's not going to fall out. So it's only in the bottom thing. Then it sprays it all over, so you don't use a lot of water.
But with a forceful spray.
And continuous.
With soap.
Continuous.
So we want to save water.
So you don't use a lot of water that way.
And Nellies City has a program where for new water customers who sign up for water service,
yes, you want
they
this
will get
list,
an actual
right?
kit that tells them how to save water.
And what's in the kit, or the bag? Fix a leak work. A dye tablet to test if your toilet is leaking.
Right. You put the dye tablet in a tank, and if the dye appears in the toilet bowl, then you know you have a leak from one to the other. That means water is seeping out, being wasted.
And if you drink or eat the dye tablet before you take a leak, you'll find out if you missed the bowl.
Oh, I see.
You can see that. That's how that works. A shower timer to make you aware of how long you are spending in the shower.
I don't know.
It's really easy. I mean, you have nothing to do in the shower. You just go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then you find how many Mississippis are there, and that tells you how long you're there. Divide by 60, and that's the minutes.
What else do you got in that bag?
Reusable water bottle and a brochure to tell you what plants to plant.
So by reusable water bottle, I hope they don't mean a plastic one.
Well, that plastic one could be made out of the plastic bags we've just recycled.
Well, because it's not really good to drink out of
PC
plastic.
Something. There's some kind of plastic
PCBs.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I try to use a metal one.
You're going to die anyway, so.
Yeah, but I want to die healthy.
Well, a lot of your friends would like to see that.
They're going to have a long wait.
No, they don't have to wait if they die healthy.
But maybe I'll meet them down at the plaza when Las Cruces gets his own plaza.
You should live so long.
I wish I would. Yes.
Mesilla has a plaza. Dona Ana has a plaza. Santa Fe is known for its plaza, and that's the Albuquerque Plaza. Las Cruces, a town equal, if not more majestic than those towns, deserves
its own plaza.
A gazebo.
At least a gazebo.
With a plaza around it.
To go with it.
Because without gazebos, you can't have little 4-piece bands with tubas and stuff.
Well, it's a nice shady spot. It's a gathering place. That's what Las Cruces
People
needs.
You can do speeches, you can do political things.
Tourists will come and marvel.
And I believe that's big enough. If you are a sword fighter, you could take your epi out and sword fight.
That's true. Any other kinds of events could be held there.
Wrestling matches.
And the place that they're looking at, and I agree it's a good place, is right across from the Rio Grande Theater in an area where there's a drive-in bank right now. They got rid of the drive-in bank. They could put the plaza there and have room around it, have it landscaped nicely.
You know what would be odd about the plaza? Because the plaza is usually circled by stores. In this case, it'll be off Main Street, which will be okay. So,
all right.
Yes.
A little bit different. That's all right.
That's Las Cruces, a city different. And we're going to do something different. We're going to take a break. Oh, wait, we always do this. And we will see you in how long?
Well, a couple minutes.
See you in a bit.
Welcome to La Buena Vida Women's Club, located away from the crowds but close to home. Come in throughout the day for Jazzercise, the world's dance fitness leader for nearly 40 years. Treat yourself to a relaxing massage, or unwind in the lounge area or outside on the balcony with friends. La Buena Vida Women's Club, located at 21.
Hey, you, come here. Do you want to know the news? The Las Cruces channel is now on 7 days a week. So keep it right here.
Celebrate, celebrate, Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate, Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
And we're back on Double Talk.
We are.
It's true, we are.
We're up front and back. And, we had a mild first half of the show talking about local events.
Yeah.
But big, well,
gotta go
the
international
Pope
now?
is a local event. We're going to go international. You go first.
Hugo.
No, you go.
Hugo Chavez?
Hugo Chavez. I guess he went.
He went.
He
yes,
went.
that's true.
He was an outspoken guy,
You think?
perhaps more sinister than Fidel Castro, who was a major thorn in America's side for a long time. Fidel's apparently still alive. We haven't heard much from him.
Well, see, we kind of had to put up with Hugo Chavez's
Yes.
vociferousness because he was selling us oil.
Yes.
$1 million gallons.
He wasn't necessarily
a day.
selling us, but if he wasn't selling anybody else, our oil prices would have gone up. And there are certain oil companies in America that did get from Venezuela, but a lot got domestic
Right.
stuff.
Well, he was the only OPEC nation in South America.
I know, it's amazing.
And there was
that true?
about a month or so ago, he was back in the hospital the same week that George Bush Sr. was also in the hospital, and I don't think that was a coincidence. In fact, Hugo Chavez's people blamed the United States for giving him cancer in the first place. They thought it was introduced to him in a sinister way, and I wouldn't put it past.
So do we give it to George Bush at the same time?
I don't think he's got cancer.
He was just sick.
We're talking about
George Bush is pretty
Sr.
old.
George
He is pretty
Sr.,
old.
the
yeah.
smart Bush.
Senior. Well, apparently Jeb is pretty smart, and he may be coming up.
We have yet to see.
We'll see about that. So, but Hugo Chavez has died, and we're probably the first people that you heard this from.
You think Sean Penn will be attending the funeral?
Did he like him?
Oh,
Did they grab each other?
Yes.
Really? Who's the guy that liked the head of Korea? Who is that?
Oh, that was Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. What
Yeah.
was with that? Why
Wow.
would Dennis Rodman go in the first place? Dennis Rodman is perhaps twice as tall as most Koreans.
That's true.
Is that a heightist
He'd
joke?
never get on their rides.
That's a heightist joke. They couldn't see eye to eye.
That's true.
Impossible.
There's eye to belt buckle.
Something like that. So, but Hugo Chavez is gone. We will have a new political sensibility in South America and perhaps Latin America if
That's true.
Fidel goes.
But speaking of unnecessary politicians, Steve Pierce was in the news
Oh,
because he was all for a new version of his old version
his own version.
of the Organ Mountains National Monument.
Yes, everybody else is looking to get 600,000, square mile or acre national park. He's looking for about 5,400.
Well, see, he only wants a portion of the Organ Mountains. The rest of it includes the Potrillo Mountains and parts of the Robledo Mountains and
Tons
other
of
areas
yes.
that have historical sites of historical value.
So he wants to limit it. He said he will keep mining out. But does mining actually eliminate oil mining for oil? They don't have to call it mining. They could do drilling. He didn't say anything about drilling. He just said mining. He will let all the ranchers be there, which is fine.
Well,
ranchers have been there for a long time.
Well, yes, unfortunately.
Well, how often do you go to the Oregon Mountains anyway?
Well, I used to go there up there. I used to go there quite often, camping and hiking and
What, 40 years ago?
outdoor activities. And
40 years ago? 30 years ago?
I used to go hiking there just
Yesterday?
a couple of years ago.
Really?
I was up there, yes, more than once.
What happened? They get too high for you?
No, I just
To
haven't
walk it?
had anybody go with me.
Oh, well, Steve Pierce would do it because he's a real outdoorsman. He likes,
that right?
He likes nature. Sure. And he's not just whistling through that tooth.
Well,
he
he
likes nature.
couldn't be bothered to attend the president's inauguration. He was too busy running around trying to save the
What did he try to say?
lizard.
this spotted lizard.
Or try to actually keep it from
kill,
being saved.
Make sure that his oil wells didn't get stopped by a little lizard.
Right, and that's going extinct.
He's got his own agenda, which perhaps most of America and New Mexico isn't on the same agenda. Let's hear some vocal objections.
Well,
here.
I keep seeing people in the newspaper, complaining about Steve Pierce when all he had to do was vote for Evelyn Madrid Earhart for Congress, and we wouldn't have to complain about Steve Pierce.
Like you say, all you got to do.
That's all I had to do.
Well, what can you do now?
Just
complain more.
Well, you can recycle your electronics. That's one thing you can do.
We were talking about recycling plastic bags, and now we're talking about recycling. Is this a guy that really encourages it?
He could have been recycling.
He could have been. He could have been doing recycling.
But now, if you have like electronics, you shouldn't throw them away.
New picture.
Because they have precious metals in them,
as well as poisonous metals.
Yes, poisonous items that are in there.
So, do we have a recycling?
You can now recycle all your cell phones and MP3s and laptops and
all that
GPS devices.
Do people have stereos anymore? Remember those big stereos? I have a lot of stuff like that in my garage, which I never use.
Now you can also always take those things down to the city.
You mean on
dump area,
on
Motel Boulevard and Amador. But Sierra Middle School is also collecting all these things.
And every so often, the county building was collecting them.
Right, but you can take them to Sierra Middle School now. Just take them right up to the front lobby. All of your electronics, see there's monitors and all that kind of junk there, you see?
Oh, there they go. Don't you feel guilty when you're throwing, this is technology. This is the peak of civilization. The world has worked towards this.
We're disposable
especially
economy.
Japan and Korea now with American ideas. But we have things that can produce miraculous things, circuits and stuff like that. And you just toss them out. Seems kind of futile, doesn't it? Like
Feudal
a waste.
or futile?
Futile.
Oh, not feudal.
Not
As in
feudal. Not
like
feudal.
Japan.
No,
when they
not
make
like
these
the
things.
medieval.
Yes.
Oh, feudal, like medieval Japan.
Yes.
Well, Japan still is surviving pretty well, sending us these things. But, a lot of other countries in the Far East are making these
China
things.
makes most
China
of these
is
things
making
now.
most of them. Things will equal out. We should live so long. Anyway, so recycled stuff, Sierra Middle School, what day did you say it was?
Any day, any weekday.
And if you don't like to change your clocks, move them ahead, like for, daylight savings time, throw it out and get a new one. But if you throw it out, take it to the Sierra Middle School.
Exactly.
That's the way to do that. What else can you recycle?
Well,
dogs and cats,
dogs
right?
And cats can be recycled.
People do that. They bring their dogs and cats to the dog and cat homeless shelter.
Well, yeah, when they can't abide them anymore, and then somebody comes in and adopts them, which is a wonderful way to give new life to a precious dog or cat.
Continued life.
Yes.
You extend their life cycle.
You do, and they really appreciate it too. And
has your cat told you this? You do have a new cat, right?
I do have.
It's only a couple years old.
I have
now.
a cat we've had.
That's a picture of his cat, the
not
big
even
one.
a year yet, and it's made all the difference to the cat itself. And a cat or a dog brings a whole new dynamic into a household, which is wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can argue with the cat or dog instead of the other person you're with?
Yes, and you
Is
always
that what
win.
you do? Not really. They come and lick you, and then you're all slimy. If it's a dog, If it's a cat, it could scratch you. Apparently, you don't have a scratching cat. Is that true? It's not.
Well, it doesn't scratch us. We have two scratching posts for it.
Posts.
Yes, and it makes great use of them because it's kind of neurotic.
And neither of them look like your leg.
No, luckily they
So
don't.
that's a good purchase.
She scratches on them instead of the furniture. It's a wonderful thing, and we like our cat. You can adopt your cat or dog today. Downtown Main Street, the
Till about
Farmers
midnight.
and Crafts Market.
Not midnight, but
It's about
noon.
1 o'clock.
Yes.
And you can also go to Petco and Pet's Barn until 3 in the afternoon.
That's right.
Right.
And at all time, well, you can go to Petco, but Petco and Pet Barn, you can go any day of the week. Pick up your dog or cat. I think dogs are $75 and cats are $50.
Cats are 50.
So if you want to get your money's worth, get yourself a big hunkin' fat dog, and 75 pounds. It goes by per pound.
Right, and
You get a lot
right,
of dog
and
per
they
pound.
They come fixed already. They come
Right.
chipped, and
Fixed?
with shots.
Well, if
pretty
if
good
you
deal.
chip your dog or cat, don't they fix the chip? They put a little porcelain fix on it.
You know what I mean? They put the chip in their ear
Or
so
chip
that
in
if
your
they
ear
get
so
lost,
they get lost.
and it winds up at a veterinarian or the animal shelter. They scan the
And,
chip. They know
and they get
who's-
fixed because if they get
lost.
lost, they don't make little versions of themselves.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing. So I understand you're going to be busy tonight as well as for a couple of days. You're working.
I'm in the play that opened last night down at the new Gin Studios.
How'd that go?
It went fabulous.
Nobody fell.
And tonight I understand we have a sold-out house. We're doing a Midsummer Night's Dream.
But tomorrow, Sunday, right?
Sunday also at 7 o'clock this weekend and next weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Where is that Cotton Gin?
It's at the corner of Hadley and Compress Road. 430 Compress Road is the address.
But if anybody has gone down Amador, they've noticed the monstrous-looking pyramid.
Yes, and that's not it.
That's not?
No, that's not where you go.
No wonder I
You
was
go all the way
mistaken.
down Compress till it dead ends at Hadley, and that's where the Cotton Gin is.
Oh,
There's
too bad.
There's two Cotton Gins right across the street from each other.
I was looking forward to a gymnastics thing in a gigantic pyramid. It'd be
Remember
like the Luxor.
You and I did a show about Cotton Gin.
Is that the one?
Across the street from that. The one right across the street.
So it's squarish.
Yes.
Oh, well.
It's basically a big barn, and it works wonderfully for this production, which is a startling new interpretation of A Midsummer Night's Dream. We have aerialists flying through the air, walking on wires, flying up and down on wires, acrobats flying through the air. It's a marvelous thing.
I understand there's a lot of fairies.
Yes, there are.
I think fairies are marvelous. We're only talking about one type, folks.
The fairies that live in the enchanted forest.
The enchanted fairies.
There's a lot of fantasy in this play.
Some of our best friends are fairies.
It's a love story as well. And so,
yes. The craziest love story. It's a love story that goes...
Well, there's three couples in love.
Yeah. One ass.
So come on down. If you've never seen Shakespeare before, this is one of the more accessible ones.
It's still Shakespeare. You know, this play was the first one I saw in high school. Mm-hmm. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
There's a lot of funny stuff in it.
And I'm sure you'll be very funny.
Yes, and coming up, tonight.
Tonight is, yes, we don't know if there's room.
For Hurricane Sandy. Actually, it's pretty much sold out, but it's from 7 to 10 at the Beverly Hills Hall.
Austin Trout.
Austin Trout was going to be there. They're hoping he can be. Jamie O'Hara's going to be there doing magic. Austin Trout is scheduled to be there, but because they upped his boxing match date, it's up in the air whether he can show up or not, because he's heavily into training now. But
maybe he could bring his little boxing thing and he could train in the place.
Even though it's sold out, they are accepting donations. They've already
good.
Collected over $6,000
Hurricane Sandy.
Benefit victims of Hurricane Sandy.
And since it's for Hurricane Sandy, I guess it's time for us to blow out of here.
Time for us to blow this gig. Thanks for joining us right here on Double Talk.